Hello everyone, I am Chandrapal Singh Inda and welcome you all on our YouTube channel GATE Classes by the TechU faculties. This is my brief introduction and today is our fourth class on convection heat transfer. As per the GATE syllabus, today we are going to complete convection heat transfer topic of heat transfer subject. So in this class, we are going to cover internal forced convection and natural convection or free convection. So before starting the class, let's quickly revise what we have done in the previous class. In a previous class, we had empirical relationship for laminar flow and turbulent flow for flow over the flat plate. So let's have empirical relationship for the laminar flow. For laminar flow, the value of Reynolds number is required to be lesser than critical Reynolds number, that is 5 into 10 to the power 5. Then we had empirical relationship that Nusselt number, local Nusselt number is equal to 0.332 Reynolds, local Reynolds number power 1 by 2 and Prandtl power 1 by 3. This was obtained by using Balassius solution. So this is an exact solution, and we had one more relation that is equal to 0.331 Reynolds power 1 by 2 and Prandtl power 1 by 3. That is an approx solution by von Karman integral equation. And we had one more result by using Reynolds analogy, that the Nusselt number, in that case Stanton number is equal to the CFX by 2, where CFX is local skin friction coefficient whose value is 0.664 divided by square root of local Reynolds number, and that is by the Reynolds analogy. And Stanton number is equal to the Nusselt number divided by product of Reynolds number and Prandtl number. This number, the product of Reynolds number and Prandtl number, is known as Peclet number. Peclet number. One more analogy is there for the Kolban analogy. According to the Kolban analogy, the product of Stanton number and Prandtl power 2 by 3rd, that gives the result CFX by 2, that is Kolban analogy. So Kolban analogy and Reynolds analogy give the same result if the value of Prandtl number is 1. So the Reynolds analogy is used for the Prandtl number is 1, means used for where the boundary layer thickness and thermal boundary layer thickness are similar. Now we had that convective heat transfer coefficient is proportional to the x raised to minus 1 by 2, means convective heat transfer coefficient is decreasing as the length from the leading edge increases, or we can say that value of convective heat transfer decreases as the boundary layer thickness increases. Now by using this result, we can find the value of average convective heat transfer coefficient, that is equal to the 2 times of the local convective heat transfer coefficient. By using this result, we can say that the average value of Nusselt number will be equal to 2 times of local Nusselt number. So these empirical relationship we had for the laminar flow. Let's have empirical relationship for turbulent flow. For turbulent flow, value of Reynolds number is greater than value of critical Reynolds number, that is 5 into 10 to the power 5. So the flow will be like this. This is surface and this is x critical. X critical means up to which the flow is laminar. So before the turbulent flow there will be a laminar flow. So if the value of critical length is very less than the length of the plate, then this type of flow is considered as fully developed turbulent flow. And for this we had empirical relationship that the Nusselt number or local Nusselt number is equal to 0.0296 Reynolds power 4 by 5 and Prandtl's power 1 by 3. And according to this we had that hx means local convective heat transfer is proportional to the x raised to minus 1 by 5. And it is also saying similarly that if the value of boundary layer thickness increases, then the value of local convective heat transfer decreases, or distance from the leading edge increases, value of convective heat transfer coefficient decreases. By this result we can find the average value of convective heat transfer coefficient, that will be equal to 5 by 4 times of the local convective heat transfer coefficient. So we had one more empirical relationship in which the laminar flow is significant, means we have to consider the laminar and turbulent both. In that case we use Colburn analogy, and according to this that h bar is equal to 1 by L 0 to xcr hx dx plus xcr to length hx dx. So by this we can find the average value of convective heat transfer coefficient if we know that proportionality of hx, and for the laminar or turbulent flow this present laminar and this represent turbulent. Now by solving this equation we had that local average Nusselt number is equal to 0.36 Reynolds power 4 by 5 minus 836 multiplied by Prandtl's power 1 by 3rd. So this constant value is different for the different fluids, and this value is varying in a different books. So this is a constant, and this equation is from the trusted book. So we can write this equation if the empirical relation is not given for the laminar and turbulent flow. So now let's start with the internal forced convection. In internal forced convection, fluid is allowed to flow through closed conduct. So let's understand. Therefore, we consider a closed conduct of a circular cross section or circular pipe. In this, when the fluid enter to the pipe, or as the fluid enters to the pipe, then each and every surface of the pipe works as a solid boundary. So there is a formation of the boundary layer over this. So the boundary layer is formed till its axis from each and every surface from the of the pipe. So let's have that there is a formation of boundary layer from each and every surface. So boundary layer is formed. So up to this section, this length from entrance to this length where the boundary layer is formed completely, where delta max is equal to the radius. This length is known as entrance length. Entrance length. After that, there is a fully developed flow. This flow may be laminar or turbulent. That is depend upon the value of the Reynolds number. So here we can find the Reynolds number where the characteristic length is going to be equal to the diameter of the pipe if the cross section is pipe. If the cross section is circular, except the circular, then in that case the characteristic length is going to be equal to the equivalent diameter, that will be equal to the 4a by p. Now when there is a laminar flow, then there is a parabolic distribution of the velocity in the direction of the radius, as at the surface of the pipe there will be a velocity, zero velocity, as the fluid is viscous, and we will find the maximum velocity at the axis of the pipe. So velocity is varying in the radius, in the direction of the radius. So we can say the velocity is function of radius. Now if the fluid is having temperature Ti at the inlet and the surface of the pipe having a temperature Ts, then there will be heat transfer between the fluid and the wall. Then, as we have said, that the heat transfer is a directional phenomena and it always occurs in the normal direction. So if the Ts is greater than the Ti, means temperature of the fluid, in that case the fluid is going to gain the heat by the wall. So the heat will be transferred in this direction. So we will have a temperature profile in this direction, like the temperature at the surfaces will be Ts equal to the Ts, and at the middle the temperature is going to be decrease, and this will be like this. So this is a temperature distribution. So we can find the temperature, mean temperature in this profile. That mean temperature is known as bulk mean temperature and represented by the TB, where TB is a bulk mean temperature. It is a constant temperature that defined as a temperature which is at a particular cross section in a x direction, means direction in a flow direction, which represent the total thermal energy available or transferred by the fluid at that cross section. So by this we can find the total thermal energy available at that section. Let's consider this is a section and this is a temperature profile at this section. So we can find the total thermal energy at that section if we know the bulk mean temperature. So we are representing this as a TB. Now uh, this is a enthalpy. Enthalpy is equal to mcpt. So m dot cp, so this is a total thermal energy q, mcp tb. So this is a total thermal energy transferred by the fluid at that section, and this is transferred by the fluid, transferred to the fluid. Okay, now we have one more heat transfer, which is convective heat transfer between the wall and the fluid, and that will be equal to the q is equal to the h into surface area into t wall minus t bulk mean temperature. So these are going to be equal as we have considered the steady state. Means now one more heat transfer is there, which is in between the fluid only. Means if there is a heat transfer, then the fluid is going to get the heat. Then that will be equal to m dot cp t inlet minus t outlet. That will be equal to the rate of heat transfer by the fluid, or heat gained by the fluid, or heat lost by the fluid. If the fluid is cold fluid, then it is going to observe the heat from the wall, or if this fluid is heated fluid, then it is going to give the heat to the wall. So this is the formula for finding the heat transfer. Now there's here we can say that the velocity is also varying. So we have to find the average value of the velocity. Average value of the velocity can be found by using continuity equation. According to the continuity equation, m dot 1 is equal to m dot 2 is equal to the m dot. So this m dot represent rho into area into, this is area into v mean. So we have to find the mean velocity. So how we are going to find this mass? So to find the value of this mass flow rate, means m dot 1 or m dot 2, let's consider a small elementary or a cross section, and this is a small elementary area, and this is varying in r direction. So here we will have that m dot is equal to rho into 2 pi r dr multiplied by velocity is a function of radius. So this is at that point. To find the overall value, so we have to integrate it from 0 to r. Then we will have that, let's write it on the next page. 0 to r rho 2 pi r dr into, and this will be equal to the rho into area is equal to the pi r square, with the cross section area is equal to pi r square, and this is v mean velocity at the cross section. Now the rho to rho is going to cancel out, pi to pi is again going to be cancelled out, then we have v mean is equal to the 2 by r square 2 by r square 0 to r u r r dr. So this is how we can find the mean value of the velocity. at a particular cross section. Now in the previously we also have to find the value of this bulk mean temperature. For this we have to find the small energy of at small elementary area, that will be equal to the dm multiply by that small elementary area 2 pi r dr, no sorry, the heat will be m cp and t as a function of radius, as the temperature is varying in this direction. So we have the heat at that, or thermal energy available at that particular cross section. So at that cross section we can find the total thermal energy available by integrating this from 0 to r, and that dm dot cp multiply by tr. So let's have and by integrating this we are going to put equal to the this, and then we are going to find the value of this mean value of the temperature, that is bulk mean temperature. Now that m dot cp tb, that is going to be equal to 0 to r dm cp t as a function of r. Here we have that at that for mass flow rate, value of the mass flow rate is equal to rho into pi r square into v mean into cp into tb, that will be equal to the 0 to r, and the mass flow rate is going to be equal to rho into 2 pi r into dr multiply by u as a function of radius, as the velocity is varying in the with respect to the radius, and temperature as a function of radius. Now rho to rho cancel out, cp to cp is cancel out, and pi to pi, and that we have that tb is equal to 0 to r ur tr r multiply by dr divided by r square into v mean. So we can put the value of mean velocity from this equation, and then we will have 2 by r square 0 to r ur r dr, that will be equal to so we will have the value of bulk mean temperature equal to this value. Let's have one question based on this topic or this concept. So this question is based on the topic or concept that we have discussed earlier. So the question is saying that for flow through the pipe of a radius r and velocity and the temperature distribution are as follows. So the velocity is equal to the constant. So in this question it is saying that we have said that the velocity is varying in the radius direction. So here it is saying that whether it is varying in the x direction or r direction, that is a constant value. Now one more relation is given for the temperature distribution. So the temperature is varying as the with respect to the radius, and the relation is given by this. And where C1 and C2 are the constant, the bulk mean temperature is given by the T infinite is equal to 2 by um r square integral 0 to r urx trx rdr. So this relationship is similar that we had earlier, that like this. So similarly we have to solve this by putting these values in this equation, that where with um is being the mean velocity of the flow and the value of tm, sorry, this is t infinite, not this is the tm. So t mean bulk mean temperature is equal to 2. So here u mean will be equal to constant as velocity is not varying. If it is given, if it is given in this question that velocity is varying in the radius direction, then we have to calculate the value of r mean. In that question we are not required to find the value of r velocity of mean velocity. So here the mean velocity will be equal to the c1 and multiply by r square, that will be equal to 0 to r ur c1 ur is equal to c1 multiply by t is c2 multiply by 1 minus r by r power 3 r dr. So this c1 and c1 is going to be cancelled out, and we will have 2 by c2 by r square 0 to r r dr minus r4 by r cube dr. Yes, sorry, this is r capital R cube. Now we have the integration that will be equal to c2 by r square, and this will be equal to the r square by 2 minus this will be equal to the r square by 5. Yes, this will be equal to the r square by 5. So r square is a common term in this differentiation session, and we will have that will be equal to 2c2 multiply by 1 by 2 minus 1 by 5. So the final result will be 3 by 5 c2, and the answer will be 0.6 c2. Is there is an option? Yes, the c option is given that it is 0.6 c2. So let's move to the next question, which is based on the heat transfer, means how the heat is going to transfer between the fluid and the wall of the pipe. So the question is asking that water whose having specific heat is equal to 4.18 kilojoule per kg Kelvin enters a pipe at the rate of 0.01 kg per second. So the mass flow rate is given. So this is equal to the m dot and temperature of 20 degree centigrade. So Ti is given. See, Ti is given. Inlet temperature of the fluid is given. The pipe of diameter, so diameter is given and the length is given, is subjected to a wall heat flux q wall in watt per meter square. So the first question is asking that q wall is equal to 2500 x, where x is in meter and in the direction of the flow, means it is like this is a pipe and this is x 0 to L, and L is equal to 3. The bulk mean temperature of the water leaving the pipe in degree centigrade. So we have to find the value of temperature who's leaving the pipe. So here we can say that that at that section the heat flux will be 25 x, as this is x distance. So this is at the x distance, so that will be equal to the 2500 x. That is a heat flux. Heat flux, uh, this represents the heat is transferred between the wall and the fluid. So whatever is going in, that will be contributing to increase the internal energy of the water. So here we will have that total heat energy transferred between wall and the fluid. So that will be equal to the 2500 into x into elementary area dA, and that is required to be integrated from 0 to L. L is equal to 3 meter, and that will be equal to m dot Cp into T outlet minus T inlet, as the internal energy of the fluid is going to increase. Now we have 2500 x into this elementary area will be equal to pi d dx, as this is dx from 0 to 3 and m dot Cp T outlet minus T inlet. So let's have the solution of this equation, and 2500 is constant, pi is constant, diameter is constant, and x dx will be x square by 2, means 0 to 3, that will be equal to mass flow rate into specific heat into T outlet minus T inlet. So let's find the value of T outlet. This is outlet temperature of the water. So water temperature will be, I'm using calculator to find the value, and you guys please use virtual calculator application. Please download it in your mobile and use it for the practice for the GATE exam, as you are not going to use this calculator in the exam. So please download virtual calculator in your mobile app, so you can practice by calculating anytime when you want. So I'm going to calculate by using this calculator. So as the value of diameter is given 50 mm, so we have to divide it by the 1000. So here we will have that this term is going to be equal to 1766.25 in watt. This will be in the watt as the heat flux is given in the watt per meter square. Now have the mass flow rate, that m dot is equal to 1.01, Cp is equal to the 4.18, that is in kilojoule. So we have to multiply by 10 to the power 3 and T outlet minus T inlet, that will be equal to that T outlet minus T inlet is going to be equal to 42.25 and T outlet will be 42.25 plus 20, so that will be equal to 62.25 in a degree centigrade. So the answer is given, A is not correct, so B is given like 60 equal to the 60. So the answer B is correct for this question. In the second question, it is asked that if T wall is equal to the 5000 and the convective heat transfer coefficient is 1000, watt per meter square Kelvin, the temperature in degree centigrade at the inner surface of the pipe at the outlet. So we have to find the value of the temperature at the surface. So heat flux is given, so this is constant heat flux throughout the wall. So we have to multiply by this surface area so that we can find the total heat flux. So the total heat flux will be 5000 into pi d l, that will be a total heat flux, and that heat flux is going to rise the internal energy of the fluid. So that will be equal to m dot Cp T outlet minus T inlet. Let's find the value of T outlet again. So now in this case we will have 5000 into 3.14 multiplied by 50 multiplied by 3 divided by 1000. So we will have, here we will have 2 3 5 5, that will be equal to, divided by mass flow rate is 0.01 divided by 4.18 divided by 1000. So here we will have that delta T means temperature difference T outlet minus T inlet is equal to the 56 and T outlet will be 76.33. That is the outlet temperature of the water, and this is given in the option number B. But option B is not correct, as the question has asked the temperature of inner surface of the pipe, not the outlet temperature of the water. So here we can find the value of outlet temperature by obtaining heat transfer between the fluid and the wall. So how we are going to calculate? Let's see that heat transferred between the wall and the pipe will be HA Ts T wall minus T outlet means of this temperature, that will be equal to the HA heat flux is given, so that will be equal to the Q into area. So the surface area is constant and Q wall is equal to to 5000 and H is given equal to the 1000. So we will have T wall minus T outlet temperature, that will be equal to the 5. Now we will have T wall equal to the 5 plus 76.33, that will be equal to the 81.33 degrees centigrade. Now we have the answer which is given in the option number D. So we have to mark the D option, not the B option, as the question has asked the inner temperature of the wall. So we have used the technique that in that we are first we have to find the value of bulk mean temperature and the velocity, as the velocity here in this question is constant, but if it was varying with the radius, then we have to find the value of mean velocity, but here it is constant, so it was easy question for us to solve. So we have utilized one concept by solving this question, and one more question we have solved based on the heat transfer in the internal forced convection. So let's find the relationship between the Nusselt number and Reynolds number in the Prandtl number for the internal forced convection. So first we will have laminar flow. First we will have laminar flow. For the internal flow, value of Reynolds number, that will be lesser than the critical Reynolds number, that is equal to the 2300 in case of the internal flow. So here we have two conditions. In first condition, we consider that constant heat flux through the pipe, means this is a pipe and it is bounded by the wire and giving a constant heat. And one more condition is here, which is constant wall temperature. So we will have the understanding of this, how we can achieve these conditions. So in a constant wall temperature, that condition can be achieved when the pipe is surrounded by latent heat, means by the steam, where the latent heat is in action. So this condition can be achieved only when there is condensate water. Now let's have empirical relationship for the constant heat flux. So whenever the constant heat flux condition is achieved by that pipe bounded by the electrical circuit, and continuously we give a constant current, and in that case the heat is a constant throughout the wall. As the wall is getting heat from the electric energy, then the temperature of wall is going to increase continuously in the x direction. This is x direction of the in length of the pipe, and this is temperature. And we can see here that the wall temperature is increasing. for temperature of the fluid, or we can say the bulk mean temperature. The bulk mean temperature is varying from entrance to the exit. As this is a at a particular cross section, so it is varying, and it become constant after this is a entrance length. After this length, this temperature difference become constant, and this is T wall minus TB. So we can see here the temperature is constant. Now check the variation in heat convective heat transfer coefficient with the X. So initially when it entered the pipe, the convective heat transfer coefficient is high as the boundary layer is low. So after the entrance length, the value of the convective heat transfer coefficient become constant. So in that case the value of Nusselt number is going to be constant, and that will be equal to that Nusselt number, I think. So value of Nusselt number will be equal to 48 by 11, as the value of convective heat transfer coefficient is going to be constant after the fully developed laminar flow. So after that, that is fully developed laminar flow, and this value is for the constant heat flux. Now we have the constant wall temperature, and we have said this condition is achieved when the surrounding to the pipe is the latent heat. So similarly we can have here that the variation in temperature, this is a temperature of wall and this is a bulk mean temperature. As the bulk mean temperature means the bulk mean temperature is related to the fluid temperature. So fluid is going to get the heat when it flows in the x direction. So similarly it will be happen here, that but the wall temperature is going to be constant. So this is T wall, and so the temperature is increasing, this is TB. Now the variation in the Hx means local convective heat transfer coefficient, or here in case there will be an average convective heat transfer coefficient as the characteristics length is the diameter of the pipe. After that there is a fully developed flow, and the value of the convective heat transfer coefficient is negligibly changing, as the temperature is changing after that point is very negligible. So the value of Nusselt number here in that case will be 3.66. So by these two relation we can find the value of convective heat transfer coefficient, and by using the application of the how the heat get transferred between the fluid and wall and the fluid, by using that technique we can find the value of whatever is asking in the question. So let's have the relationship for the turbulent flow. For turbulent flow, we will have the Nusselt number that will be equal to 0.023 Reynolds power 0.8 and Prandtl's power n. n, where n will be 0.4 when heating, and n will be 0.3 when cooling. Means the fluid is get heated. In that case we will use n is equal to 0.4, and in case of the cooling condition we will use n is equal to the 0.3. So these are the empirical relationship for the internal forced convection. So based on this we solve the numerical problems. Let's have the numerical problems. So here again we have to use the calculator, and the question is saying the water flows through a tube of diameter 25. So d is equal to 25. So write down to the, write down there, d is equal to the, and that is equal to the characteristatics length of the internal forced convection at an average velocity of 1 meter per second. So v average is also given. Yeah, v mean, we can say it is v mean. The properties of the water are 1000 kg per meter cube, mu is equal to 7 point, that is dynamic viscosity, and thermal conductivity of the fluid is given, and Prandtl number is given. So using the empirical relationship was given for the question. The convection heat transfer coefficient in watt per meter square Kelvin is. So this question was a numerical question in 2014. So we have to enter the value of the answer. So let's find. First of all, we have to find, as the Prandtl number is given, that is equal to the 4.85, and we have to find the value of the Reynolds number, and the value of the Reynolds number is equal to the rho v L C upon mu, where LC is equal to the diameter and that is characteristatics length. So rho is density 1000. We have to put all the value in SI units. Okay, so and the value of velocity is 1 meter per second, multiply by characteristatics length, diameter is equal to the 25 mm. So we have to divide by 1000 and divided by mu. Value of mu is 7.25 into 10 to the power minus 4. So let's find what we get. We will have the Reynolds number will be equal to the 1000 to 1000 is going to be cancelled out. 3 4 4 8 2.75. So this is the value of Reynolds number, which is representing that the flow is turbulent. According to the value of laminar flow, that is turbulent flow, and we saw that the for turbulent flow the relationship is 0.023 Reynolds power 0.8 and Prandtl's power n, and n is equal to 0.4 when heating, means the fluid is get heated, means fluid get heated, and here the fluid is being cooled. Now we have the Reynolds number, and we have to put the value of Prandtl number in the equation. 0.023 Reynolds power 0.8. So power 0.8 multiply by Prandtl number is equal to 4.85 power 0.4, and Nusselt number is equal to the h d by k of fluid. So we will have that hd by k will be equal to 184.5446. So now we can find the value of h multiplying it terms by k and divided by diameter. Let's have multiply value of the k is 0.0625 divided by 25 and multiply by 1000. So we will have the value of convective heat transfer coefficient H, that will be equal to 4613.66 watt per meter square Kelvin. So this is how we have find the value of convective heat transfer coefficient for the internal forced convection. Let's have the next question. So this question was in GATE 2005. According to this question, the question was asking that an uninsulated air conditioning duct of a rectangular cross section. So this is a rectangular cross section, means we have to find the equivalent diameter, and the equivalent diameter is equal to the 4 into cross section area divided by the perimeter. 4 A by P is the D equivalent. So we have to again find the value of D equivalent. 4 into area, the area will be 0.5 divided by perimeter. So the perimeter, this is like so we will have D equivalent is equal to 0.666 meter. So by using that formula for the Reynolds number, that rho v D equivalent by mu, we can find the value of Reynolds number. Let's find the value of Reynolds number, as the all the properties given here, and all the properties is given, that thermal conductivity of the fluid is given, the viscosity of the fluid is given, Prandtl number is given, density is given, and the laminar flow, and the relation is given that the laminar flow Nusselt number is 3.4 for the constant wall temperature. So the condition is the constant wall temperature condition, and turbulent flow, and for turbulent flow. So first we have to find whether the flow is laminar or turbulent. So for this we have to find the value of Reynolds number. So the Reynolds number is equal to rho v d upon mu. So the velocity is equal to the 10, and density of the air is 1.2, and viscosity is equal to the 18 10 to the power minus 6 Pascal into second divided by 18 6. So it will be equal to 4.44 into 10 to the power 5. So for the Reynolds number, as the question has asked, what is the Reynolds number for the flow? The answer which is matching is C. The first answer is correct, that we have easily find the value of Reynolds number, that is equal to the 4.44 into 10 to the power 5. So after finding the Reynolds number, what we have to find? The rate of heat transfer per unit length of the duct. So by this relationship, what we have, by this relationship, first we have to find the value of H, convective heat transfer coefficient, and then we can find the value of Q, as Q is equal to the H into area. Area will be equal to the, this cross section area into length, means area will be uh, the area into temperature difference. So the temperature difference here will be equal to the ambient temperature, as the ambient temperature is constant, 30 minus 20. So we have, first we have to find the value of convective heat transfer coefficient. Let's find the value of convective heat transfer coefficient by using the relationship for the turbulent flow. As we can see, the value of Reynolds number is way greater than 4,000. So we will use that the Nusselt number is equal to 0.23 0.023 Reynolds and Prandtl's power 0.33. So by putting the value of Reynolds number and Prandtl number in this relation, then we can find the value of Nusselt number, that will be equal to the, let me find, so we will have that Nusselt number is equal to the 683.72. So here we can find the a value of convective heat transfer coefficient H. Then H will be 0863.72 multiplied by K divided by D equivalent, that was 0.666, and thermal conductivity of the air is equal to 0.025 divided by 0.666. We will have the H, that will be equal to 25.6651. So we have the value of convective heat transfer coefficient, that watt per meter square Kelvin. Now this area will be equal to this parameter into length. So H will be HPL by 30 minus 20, and value of L is unknown. So that's why the question has asked heat transfer per unit length of the duct. So this L can be transferred to this left hand side. Let's find the value, and the parameter will be 2, So the answer will be 769. So the option number D is correct. So now it is not possible to complete the natural convection or free convection. So we will complete that part in the next class, and we will conclude our today's lecture here. So we will complete our convectivity transfer topic in the next class. So till then, bye.